Half of Americans have less than $500 in savings. 36% have less than $100 in their savings. Is this you? If it is, perfect. You are my people. You are the ones I hoped would click this video because I really need to talk to you. Let's talk about Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps to financial freedom. Now, if you don't know Dave, that's okay because I do. And I'm going to tell you about how his steps have literally changed my life. And of course, where else would we start but with step 1, which is we are going to save $1,000 for an emergency fund. Now, a lot of people like to ask, why do we do this? Especially when $1,000 isn't even really enough for an emergency, right? And you might be right. Your first $1,000 savings, while it's nice to have that little safety net, it could possibly still not be enough to cover every emergency. But here's what my first thought always is. Why are we even worried about what it will or potentially won't cover when half of us don't even have it? Let's get this done. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you how I completed baby step 1. So these 7 steps, it's a plan, right? It is a very clear plan that is easy to follow, and that's probably why it has worked for over 30 years and for millions of people. I am actually one of them. My husband, Jason, and I paid off over $300,000 of consumer debt in a little over 20 months. And my most recent completed baby step was baby step 3, where we have saved $45,000 for our 6-month emergency fund. That gives us $7,500 a month to keep us afloat if we ever needed it. So yes, later on in the baby steps, you will save up a much larger and more substantial nest egg, which is great. But first is step 1. We got to work on that. In this packet is a series of actions that you are going to go through in order to achieve the desired results. Everyone's desired results look a little different, right? Maybe you want to not worry about retirement, and that's totally where I'm at right now in my stage of life. Maybe you're ready to buy a home. Maybe you're tired of debt collectors. Maybe you have had enough of paying those high monthly payments on your student loans. But I bet one desired result that we can all agree on is we all want to live with less stress. And when our finances are a mess, it is so stressful. I didn't want to be stressed out anymore, especially over something I can control. So quick recap. We have a 7-step plan to get us out of debt and put us in control of our finances. We have our desired result in mind, and our first action is starting with step 1. We are going to save the $1,000. No, it might not be enough to cover every possible scenario, but it is better than $0. What we should call this is the $1,000 ankle biter fund, because in the end, you have this so that when you move on to baby step 2, which is paying off all of your debt, this cash is in your reserves for those annoying occurrences that are going to happen along the way. It will cover a blown out tire. It will cover a dead battery or a visit to the pediatrician and a missed day off of work, right? Having $1,000 to cover those types of things is going to keep you from getting pissed off when those things happen and then just giving up altogether on paying the debt or saving money in general. You will actually have the cash. Yes, the cash, which means not having to take out more debt to cover your ankle biter emergency. You recoup what you spent, and then you just go ahead and restart baby step 2. Yes, less stress is already setting in. Now, for some of us, $1,000 sounds like a lot of money. If 36% of us don't even have $100, what are we even talking about here, right? Well, I'm glad you asked, because this is the other part of step 1 that I don't think most people are realizing or even thinking about. Saving this up is actually meant to make you uncomfortable because comfort is what got us into debt in the first place, right? This overall action and all of the things that you are about to do to save the 1K is going to prove to you that you have the ability to commit to more. You are on your way to save 1K. Now, this packet is broken down into 8 very doable steps. Now, I'm the type of person that loves to take an overall goal, like saving the 1K, and then asking myself, how? What are the actionable steps that I can take today, right now? I also like having something I can hold in my hands and be able to look it over, take it in, mark it off with a pen, see where I have exhausted this step for now and where I can pick it up maybe in a day or two, then move to this one where I can check something else off. I understand that we live in an automated, one-click, instant gratification kind of world. I don't know, it just doesn't have the same overall feel. So in today's video, we are going to go over each one of these 8 steps. This is already laid out for you and it looks cute, but you don't need this packet to do this. You can just get a notebook and write these steps down. Okay, so let's get into this. Step 1, do my budget. Now there is a budget sheet in here for you, and if you get paid bi-weekly, there's a bi-weekly budget sheet. And we've got an undated monthly calendar. I also have a very detailed video here on YouTube. I will link it here, and I will also link it in the description on how to set up your budget. I've got one for weekly and monthly budgeters, and I also have a video for my bi-weekly budgeters. Now, some of you might already be saying, I don't need a budget. I know what I make, and I know what my bills are. Hey, that's a great start, but do you know what you spent on eating out last month? Do you know what your groceries have cost you over the past 2 weeks? Do you know how much every subscription is costing you monthly? I think we all expect any business to have a budget and would think that they're probably not a very serious company if they didn't have one. How would they know what they spent on supplies, what to charge their customers, or pay their employees? Why do we think that we are any different? Money is money. Income minus expenses is the same for an individual, a couple, a family, as it is a business. Where are we headed? What are our goals? What could we change? What's already working? Having a budget will answer those questions. This is where you're going to end up seeing your budget busters. Things like groceries, convenience store runs, drive-thrus, even your kids. And then with a budget, we can set limits on those things and start to save the rest for the $1,000 fund now, your debt payoff later, and even more important things after that, your 6-month fund, retirement, how about some peace of mind? This budget is going to show you things like, okay, I need to do XYZ by next month. I should start learning more about starting that IRA so I'm ready in 6 months. If I look for part-time work now, this won't be an issue when it's time for that. Do you see where I'm going with this? You'll just know your numbers overall much better with a budget, and you'll be able to stay on top of things before they happen. So check out those videos, and if you do not purchase this packet, don't worry, because I have free downloads for you linked below. Okay, so step 2, the no spend challenge. Now this is where you will finally stop the hemorrhaging, as Dave says. Most of us are just bleeding money from here, there, and everywhere, and we might not even realize it. Getting our nails done, stopping to see friends at the bar, buying lunch 5 days a week, always saying yes to Timmy when we're at the store. So many things can just $10 or $20 us to death. Doing a no spend challenge puts these new sentences into your vocabulary, and you can just use them over and over. The first one is, that's not in my budget. I know, I like that one too. But my personal favorite is, I can't. I'm on a no spend. If you've never done a no spend, if you've never heard of a no spend, I have a video here and linked in the description on how and why you should do a no spend. Again, don't worry, I have a free no spend tracker linked below. Step 3 to saving up your $1,000 emergency fund is to pause subscriptions. There are a lot more than just Netflix now, right? We have Amazon, Chewy, Stitch Fix, Ipsy, CVS, Spotify, Audible, Home Chef, Canva, Xbox, BarkBox, Dollar Shave Club, Quick Quack. Even beauty appointments count here. Every 3 weeks for lashes, every 4 weeks for nails, every 6 weeks for roots. those sound just like subscriptions to me. And I can say something because I was doing all of that too. So what I want you to do is write all of them down. If you're drawing a blank, just check your last bank statement. Amazon Prime holds some of them under your membership and subscriptions tab. If you have an Apple phone, you can go to settings, click up at the top where your name is, and you'll see subscriptions. Rocket Money also has a free app that will show you all of your current payments. Yes, that can be some work to find them all, but now that you have them, I want you to add up that monthly total. How much are you spending? Can you pause some of them? Can we live without them altogether? Maybe find some free alternatives, push our appointments out a little longer. Americans spend an average of $238 a month just on subscriptions alone. How much can you cut that and put towards your $1,000 emergency fund? I found this article where they have you think about your usage versus the cost, and I have it linked below. I think it can help you decide which ones you might want to cut, pause, or go ahead and keep. Okay, let's move on to step 4, and that is meal plan. Okay, so what do we have? We have breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner, snacks. Sometimes our food bill can be pretty close to our housing bill. This was my biggest bill for a long time, and I didn't even realize it. I actually had no idea how much I was spending on food until I sat the down and did all of these things that I'm showing you today. When I added up my grocery store trips, eating out, Jason's breakfast and lunch drive-thrus, convenience store stops, the DoorDash, you guys, we were well over $2,500 a month. Yeah, that was my reaction too. And you guessed it, I started cooking everything at home. Fun. That was 3 years ago. And yes, it was a huge adjustment, but now it's just how we do things. We have gotten completely out of the habit of just ordering out over every small inconvenience. Oh, I'm too tired. It's too late now. I'm not in the mood for what we have. Well, get in the mood, because now my grocery bill is limited to $600 a month, and sometimes I don't even spend all of that. So we are saving about $2,000 a month just by meal planning. And yes, I have a video for you to watch. Save on your groceries with these tips. These are good ones, by the way. Let's move on to step number 5, lower bills. Now, we can get very complacent with these types of bills, right? We just set it and forget it. Well, it is time to remember and check on them. On this page, I typed up any bills that I could think of that we have the ability to lower. And then on page 2, I left that blank so you can write in any other ones that you have. And then these 2 note pages are for when you make the phone calls or just for your own notes on how you will lower your bills. I'll use gas for the car as an example. Maybe you could start using the reward apps. I used to love Safeways. It saved me 20 cents off of every gallon of gas. Maybe you could carpool with your coworkers. Maybe you could errand run all at one time, just on one specific day of the week. Pest control is another one. You could either buy your own at Home Depot or minimize the service. I went from them coming every 3 months and spraying inside and out to just out to now not at all. And I live in South Florida. We do it ourselves and we have had no problem. Be flexible here is my point. Before you look at one of these and just say, nope, there's no way I'm cutting cable. Check the free apps, try them for a few days, see if you even miss the cable. Or on your phone bill, just saying, nope, I will never give up Verizon. Their coverage is too good. Have you even looked around lately at all of these new companies that are using the same towers and networks, but giving you huge savings on your monthly bill? And you guys, I am using these very specific scenarios because they are me. I was convinced that the pest guy had some special magic potions. Well, he doesn't. And I saved myself $30 a month by getting rid of him. I had Hulu Live TV because I thought that I could not get my local channels anywhere. Well, I was wrong about that too. They are actually on Tubi for free. Saved $80 a month. And I was with Verizon for 12 years, paying $240 a month for that unbeatable coverage. And I just switched to Mint a couple months ago. Literally no difference except for the amount of my bill. So keep all of that in mind when you're looking at this list. Be flexible. Now, maybe you are even behind on your bills right now or worried that you're about to be. I want you to watch this video. It is called Behind on Monthly Bills. I give a lot of useful info to get yourself back on track here. Again, all of this is from experience. I already fell behind on my bills and figured out how to get back on top. So you don't have to. More than once, I might add, which is why I have so many different ideas in that video. Okay, let's move on to step number 6, sell your items. Now this is self-explanatory here, right? And here's the thing. Your stuff does not have to be in perfect condition or name brand or vintage or aesthetic or any of those things. You can literally just walk around your house, look in drawers and closets, your basement, your shed, your garage. Some of you might even have whole storage units full of stuff to sell. And that's great because the more you have, the better. That's more opportunity for more money to be made. And I have these lists to prompt you to go into that part of the house and take a look. Go through it all. Even if you don't sell everything and some of it ends up getting donated instead, clearing the house of unwanted items ultimately clears your head too. So what can you sell? And don't worry if you've never sold anything online or in person. You guessed it, I have a video on this too. Okay, let's move on to step 7, side jobs. Now I heard someone recently say that everyone has a marketable skill. Yes, everyone. You, me, everyone. And I guess I never really thought about that until I heard it just so bluntly stated, just so matter of fact. Like, yeah, we all have something. So I started to think about everyone that I know, and it's actually true. And there's something I want to add here. I don't care how old you are. You can always learn. I just celebrated my 50th birthday, and in the past 5 years or so, I have obtained my real estate license. I was selling vintage items on Etsy. I learned how to Airbnb my house. I started this YouTube channel. I figured out how to edit the videos. I then changed my vintage Etsy shop to items that I figured out how to make on Canva. I recently took a financial coaching class and completed that this past month, and that is giving me a whole new way to make extra income. So what interests you? What are you good at? There is so much opportunity. We just need to start. And step 8, our very last one, track spending. Now this can seem very tedious if you've never done it before, but just try it. It actually keeps you accountable to yourself, and it is really eye-opening after some time is passed and you look back on it. Now back in the day, we had these ledgers in our checkbooks, and that's how we kept track of our spending, and we had no choice but to do it that way because there was no online banking. And honestly, I kind of think that online banking is just extremely misleading anyway, because as we all know, we are not just writing checks and swiping a debit card. We now have so many auto payments and subscriptions coming out left and right that the online banking total that you see today, one forgotten deduction can throw it all into a total tizzy. There are just so many reasons to track your spending. All it's going to do is help you. All of these steps will get you to your $1,000 savings. On their own, each one will make a difference. But collectively, doing all of these, really sticking to it, giving it your total attention, guys, even those of you who are convinced that your situation cannot change, honest, there's really no way that it couldn't. As you are doing these things, you are changing your behaviors, you are learning about yourself, your strong suits, your weak spots. So those things that you learn about yourself, that's what is going to propel you forward when you get to step 2 of paying off all of your debt. Everything is tied together, as I said in the beginning. This is a process. The definition of process is a series of actions that you have to go through in order to achieve the desired results. Now, the last thing in your packet is your tracker. Each of these symbols is worth $10, and you can do this with cash or your savings account digitally. It is completely up to you. As you are selling your items, lowering your bills, meal planning, and maybe even doing those side jobs, this is building up. When you look in the description below, you will see the beginner budget packet, and that's what has the budget sheet, the no spend challenge tracker, the spending trackers, and it also has an emergency fund tracker. So you have all of the pages you need for free linked in the description. But if you want the rest of the packet with the extra pages all together for you, this is available in my Etsy shop at Jenn Saves, and I am putting it 50% off with the code On My Way, and that code will not expire. So when are you going to start? I am so excited for you to get this step 1 out of your way so that we can move on to step 2. I will be with you for that too. So if you liked this video, let me know and let YouTube know, and hit the like button so more people will get to see it. And don't forget to subscribe. I will be working on that step 2 video for you, but in the meantime, start with the biggest budget buster, the groceries. Go get your pen and paper, click here, and get ready for the tips.